But this is kind of where my story begins, because I started back in 2003 and was lucky enough to have my hand on the rudder of this big ship. And so let's take a look. We're going to start with some early stuff. That was it. That's all they did back then. Print and outdoor.
Amazing engineering brings you the rich tone and sensitivities of fine radios and cuts the cost in half. It is revolutionary Motorola, priced at half your first gift. Yes, every day is bargain day with this lightweight, conveniently sized set that has all wanted features plus tone parity, usually found only in larger sets at greater cost. AC/DC, automatic volume control, orange speaker, exceptional power. Its smooth glowing lines fit into every room. Its low cost and unobtrusive beauty make it a wonderful second radio. See it, hear it, plus the other beautiful Motorola table models at your Motorola dealer now.
Scintillating. That was one of their first television spots. I apologize for the audio. It sounds like an alarm's going off, but that was the quality of the stuff back then. Here I think we have the first words from the moon.
Motorola was an integral part of the space program from its inception, and the words of every astronaut were communicated over Motorola radios. Neil Armstrong's words were among them.
Kind of cool. And I think there's just one last one here. And this last one was, again, it was around the mid-'80s. And the important thing about this next one is this. It was representative of the way cell phone advertising was for a very, very long time, which was very product-centric. Again, Motorola invented the cell phone. And there was no real Nokia at the time. There was no iPhone, which is another interesting story because we helped them launch it. There was no other cell phones, so it was really just about that product. And all kinds of advertising that you ever saw was about the product until one point that I'll lead into after this.
I'm here with a new friend speaking to our Motorola cellular phone. You guys ready? We're here to show you that these Motorola phones are built to take a lot of punishment. Everyone okay? Is there a tougher cellular phone out there? Motorola, the best-selling, most preferred cellular phones in the world.
Man, it's kind of embarrassing, but I really want you to, as we move forward these next few slides, I mean, that was the culture that was Motorola when about a dozen of us kind of arrived. You know, print stuff was the phone. You know, advertising, TV was the phone, and it was, how could you be kitschy like you just saw? So this is an actual page, believe it or not, I found from 7 or so years ago where we're talking about brand positioning architecture. I only grabbed this page because it speaks to kind of this emotional and kind of characteristic brand that we wanted to be. And no one had ever given this kind of thought. This is one page out of like an 60-page deck that we used to work on with our agency. And we wanted to, you know, use Nike as the model. We had great aspirations. As a matter of fact, this is also from that same deck. This is who we wanted to be. We wanted to be up there with the icons of the industry, the Apple, the Nike. Target's just there, not necessarily because they were as big that time, but certainly recognizable. Every time you see those, you knew who it was and it stood for something. And so that point, you know, we wanted to be about freedom, engagement, social impact, and influence. We wanted to be the instigators. That's an interesting characteristic when I show you some of these visuals moving forward. Provocative, open-minded, collaborative, and Hello Moto. Hello Moto started off, believe it or don't, as a ringtone. And it went on all the new Razors. And it became, no one ever had a speaking ringtone before. If you guys remember, it was like, hello Moto, you know, it's, huh? Who's talking? That was all new. And so that actually played a very, very large part in the brand moving forward. It was kind of like the signature. It's like aloha. Aloha is hello, it's goodbye, it's this friendly thing. Hello Moto was the exact same way. And some of the visuals I'll show you show coming up really leveraged this whole new Moto language and became integral part of the brand. So, as I've already mentioned, differentiation, human, experiential, aspirational. Just one quick point on this. The human aspect, again, didn't exist in cell phone advertising prior. Experiential, yeah, I mean, you saw on that one phone, you know, crystal clear talk. Well, does it make a phone call or doesn't it? I mean, does it speak to me? What about me and my life? And aspirational. I mean, it was very much a kind of a unique thing at the time, but how did it make me, you know, aspire to something greater? So here's the beginning. And again, this is a little bit pre-Razor, just before Razor. Glitter Moto, and I'm going to start going faster through these, but for the first time, do you see individuals expressing themselves and who they want to be and what they want to be? Metal Moto, this was one of our first actually metal-cased phones. UFO Moto had interchangeable faces. Headspin Moto, this was the first twist phone. It actually opened sideways. Hypnoto Moto, same phone. Moto Flash, Yo-Yo. Gossip Moto. You know, and some of these, you know, still are based on the phone, but you see individuals now. People can now start relating to people with phones for different reasons. I mean, even if it's just a gossip. You know, you don't have to use a cell phone just to make business calls or what have you. Motogenic. Hey, you can take pictures of your belly button ring if you want. Hands-off Moto. Here we start seeing a slight transgression. This is where Microsoft software started entering some of our phones. And it's the same concept, which is, hey, you can be the stuffy business guy, but you can escape Moto, and you know, he's hopefully headed to the beach. Or there's Alt Moto, you know, business guy blowing bubble gum. This guy, I don't know why he's going roller skating, but you get the picture.